this computer. Okay, go.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Team 2's status update on our National Park app. My name is Drew Parkinson, and I'll be covering the first couple of slides. So initially, what we've got set up so far is we have a more or less a hard-coded park list, and this allows the user to interact with the park list and scroll through the list. And the eventual hope is that we wire this up very shortly to actually the API that is pulling information for each park. And I was going to go ahead and start a small demo here of the app that we have so far. So a user can scroll through the list, and if they do a long push, it'll actually remove something from the list. If I want to search for text, I can go ahead and start typing part of the text, and it'll filter our list. And in order to be able to wire out that to the API, we've just got to make a couple of tweaks to some of the calls. And Frank will start on the next slide about the status of the API.
All right, I'm Frank. We had a little bit of a rough start with the API, but we've got it running now. So we've got some classes that help us pull the data from the National Park Service API, and then some helper classes that help us serialize that data. So we have a separate we have a separate instance of the park class for every single park. And then all of its data is stored as member variables, and some of these helper classes you see help store some of that. And then Alejandro, we'll go ahead and talk about the next part.
Our other goal is to be able to integrate Google Maps into our app. Whenever a user will click on one of the maps, or sorry, one of the parks, they'll be able to see the directions to that park. Here's an example of integrating Google Maps by showing a marker based on the GPS coordinates of the map. At the moment, we can only hard code the marker, but just like the park list, we'll have it so that when the user clicks on a park, the program pulls API information like the latitude and longitude into the function so that it can show the correct location on the map.
Okay, so recapping some of the required features that we set out for ourselves for this project. We are currently working on search by state. We've got search by park name working as a prototype against a predefined list, but it isn't wired up to the API quite yet. We haven't started on creating a list of the user's favorite national parks, but that's on our list for this week. And then the log of parks attended by the user will follow shortly after that. I'm currently working on a screen on viewing the general national park details on a screen of its own, and we hope to get that done in the next couple of days. Alejandro will cover these stretch features on the next slide.
Since this is our first week of really attempting to start the app, we haven't really done much on our stretch features, apart from displaying the park on Google Maps. That's all these stretch features we'll hope to implement later on as we get more comfortable in how we set up the app, how it works, and just make sure it actually works correctly with our code.
Okay.
Right, and as I mentioned previously, we started out a lot slower than we expected. So we're having some difficulty understanding the APIs and figuring out the layouts. But we're starting to get a better handle on that and pick up the pace. Again, with the API integration, we were having some trouble getting it to serialize correctly, and once we accepted how it actually works and started working around that, things got a lot faster.
Okay. And that's our status report for this week. We're planning on making a lot more frequent check-ins of our code and communicating via Slack to make sure that we're all on the same page and making sure that we meet our deadlines. And that is all we have to share at this point.
Thank you.